Pre-loved designer has been all the rage lately, and today we'll be visiting one of China's largest consignment warehouse. So if you're interested in what you can find in pricing, make sure to keep watching. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Sophie, and today we are at China's largest consignment store, ZZER. They have several warehouse locations in China, and the Shanghai one is absolutely massive. The Shanghai warehouse is located in Hongqiao World, just a short ride from the Hongqiao International Airport, so I highly recommend calling a Didi to get here if you're traveling from the Pudong side of the city. As soon as you walk in, you have to drop off your personal bags at a locker or bag hold area and pick up a pair of gloves before officially browsing through everything, and immediately upon walking in, you'll find a bunch of small leather goods, mostly wallets. This is also the area where they store all of the boxes and papers that may come with the item you purchase. You'll be able to find this type of information along with pricing for all items here listed on their app. Every item here has its own unique QR code that directs you to the exact listing, so make sure to download the app before coming and make sure to have your eSIMs or pocket Wi-Fi's handy. Right next to the small leather goods is a small wall of micro bags and wallets on chains. The selection was pretty small, but this Loewe and YSL did catch my eye. On the other side of this wall is the accessory section. This is where all the eyewear, belts, and lower tiered accessories are located. There was a huge selection of sunglasses, including brands like Gentle Monster, Miu Miu, etc. If you're in the market for some sunglasses, you're probably going to find a pair or two here. The belt selection, on the other hand, is a bit more eccentric in my opinion. There wasn't too much everyday belts, but I did find this LV one and this giant Gucci logo belt. The buckle was literally the size of my thigh. As we continue on to the right, you'll see the jewelry section. These are mainly costume jewelry and more common pieces of Van Cleef and lower tiered brands. All of the fine jewelry and more expensive pieces are in another section, which I'll get into in a few, but the selections here are great for everyday wear. And speaking of everyday wear, for those who are hat fanatics, there is a wall dedicated to hats as you progress into the warehouse, though I'd say the selection is quite limited. There's not too much variety and a lot of the styles are definitely on the bolder side, with some minimalist styles here and there. And in front of the hat section is the watches. My partner has been really into watches lately, so we definitely spent quite some time here. There were a lot of Cartier and designer fashion styles, but a lot of it was market price, and honestly there weren't anything super unique. I'm sure the selection changes every so often, so what I see here may be completely different by the time you go. There were also a bit more small leather goods, ceramic homeware, and visors in the other cases within this section for anyone who are interested. Okay, on to the star of the show. Their bag inventory is absolutely massive. I don't think video do its justice to truly show you how many bags there are, but everything is super organized. Every bag has its own spot and nothing is ever on top of one another, which makes the whole shopping experience way less intimidating in my opinion. Almost all of the bags are organized by brand, with some cheaper ones organized by price point. Since everything here is consigned, pricing will vary depending on the seller, so the same bag in similar condition may have different price points, so definitely take the time to scan the QR codes if there are multiples of the bag you're looking for. There honestly isn't a right or wrong method in tackling this massive warehouse. Personally, I just went to check out the brands that I know and love, like Loewe. There were a lot of handbag bags, but unfortunately I already purchased one in Japan 2 years ago, so I had to pass on that. I did also find a few other mini puzzle bags, but the price point just didn't seem to match their conditions, so I passed on those as well. But pro tip, after speaking with the worker, she let me know that you can actually reach out to their customer service through WeChat to try to negotiate prices with the seller, but this does require knowing Chinese or having a translator, and it may take some time since it'll depend on when the seller gets back to them, so it's not exactly ideal for tourists to take advantage of. But if you're here for a few days and want to test your luck, definitely give it a try and let me know if it worked. Now, if there's any brands with an abundance of inventory, it would definitely be LV. They have the largest selection from more vintage finds to newer styles. You'll probably be able to find what you're looking for here. I actually found multiples of the same bag that I purchased for my mom during the Japan charity sale last year at much better conditions and pretty acceptable prices, so definitely make sure to look through every roll to see what kind of gems you may come across. And as we approach the back of the warehouse, you'll find the Blackstone area. These are where all the more coveted and high price point pieces are kept. As soon as you walk in, you'll find a bunch of Hermes and this beautiful wall of black Chanels. You may notice that there are some bags and protectors here because they do not play around when it comes to keeping the pieces in their best condition. Pricing wise, it's pretty similar to the rest of the warehouse where everything is listed at pretty standard market price, but they did have a lot of classic options along with some unique vintage pieces you won't find anywhere else. They do have small selections of other brands sprinkled here and there. These are usually limited edition or new pieces, so they're definitely listed at a higher price point than the ones outside. There was also a small Goya section. I've been in the market for a white hobo, but unfortunately they didn't have any when I went. I will say you can definitely tell which bags are trending and more popular in China by its price point and scarcity. Bags like Chanel 22 and 25 were quite limited and very similar to retail prices. For Hermes fans, there's also a whole room dedicated to be the Hermes barn. As you can imagine, these are very valuable pieces, but they're also very specific, so unless you already know exactly what you want, the selection here may or may not resonate with you, but it was still nice to be able to window shop for Hermes like this. As mentioned before, fine jewelry are kept separately, and that's right here in the Blackstone area. There's a pretty wide variety of pieces, and this Cartier Love Stack specifically caught my eye. I debated really hard whether or not I should pull the trigger on this, but ultimately decided to save my wallet. If any of you are heading there soon, please let me know if it's still there. And aside from bags, there's also a small men's section, which were mainly briefcases and backpacks. There honestly wasn't too much variety, but if you need a new work bag, you'll probably be able to find one here. Similarly, the clothing section were pretty small with a lot of t-shirts and some higher end winter jackets. Personally, none of this really resonated with me, so I didn't spend too much time here. And last but not least, the shoe section. I was genuinely surprised how well kept the shoes were. This pair of Chanel's caught my eye, but unfortunately it was too small for me, but it was such a good find. Overall, I say if you have a specific designer item you're looking for, it's definitely worth coming here to test your luck. While you can download the app in advance to browse through their selections, the app shows you all of their available inventory across all of their warehouses in China, which can make browsing on the app a bit overwhelming. I also prefer to see the conditions of the bag in person, so I love coming to these types of warehouses, but I wouldn't say this is where you'll find cheap and amazing deals on designer goods. Rather, it's a really good place to source and find pre-loved items you otherwise can't find anywhere else. So I think it's still worth coming if you have time. And that's it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching, and please let me know in the comments whether you're able to find any gems if you do decide to visit. And if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!